Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and it is the last day of February 28th. Good to have you with us on this Tasty Tuesday show. We got some special guests coming up in just a few moments. But right now, my co-host, Benjamin Escobar. Benji is back in the house. Good to see you, Benji.
I'm back. I'm back from my vacation. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, you said you go on vacation. Where'd you go?
I went to Los Angeles, California.
Did the girlfriend go with you?
Yeah, she did. I didn't leave her back.
All right. All right. Nice little vacation. You're back. All right. Well, yeah. Benji, we've got some more tips for you on the show today because we've got a restaurant we're going to talk to in a little while. You're definitely going to need to take your girlfriend there sometime. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll score some major bonus points. All right. Yeah. All right. Benji, we want to thank everyone watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube. We're here just about every morning when HCC is in session, live at 10 a.m. They can also catch us anytime in social media, rewatch the show there, and on HCCTV as well.
Yeah, we're live on Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, but Houston Community College District, and on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV, our own TV channel, where you can catch the rebroadcast of this show at noon, 5, 10 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Okay, so it's Tasty Tuesday on many levels. We're going to meet with a restaurant in a few minutes, but food insecurity with our students is still a very big deal. We're going to be talking about that, and joining me right now is Alejandra Campos-Guerrero, Associate Dean of Student Engagement and Success at HCC Southeast College. Good morning, Alejandra. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing from you very soon, so stick around. Benji's going to be with you in about 10 minutes.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Right now, we're going to kick things off. One of my favorite places got one of my favorite dishes. We'll talk about that in a second. But we've got Brennan-Martin. He's the proprietor of Brennan's of Houston and our Tasty Tuesday guest. Alex, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here.
Morning.
Okay. I'm going to just throw it out at the top of the show because I'm always excited to go to Brennan's because the one thing I can't live without is getting some turtle soup in my life. I mean, that just knocks it out of the park. You guys, how long has that recipe been around?
Oh, the recipe? Oh, certainly hundreds of years. In the form that we do it, I would imagine, going back to the mid-1950s.
It's incredible, but maybe you talk in 1950s, but Alex has been around, or I should say Brennan's has been around for quite some time. You've got a birthday coming up. Tell us about your birthday and a bit about the building and the history of Brennan's.
Yeah, Brennan's opened in Houston in 1967. And so we're coming up on yet another plus 50 years, 56, I believe, if my math is correct. It's a great story. My family started in actually the bar business in New Orleans. One of my uncles bought the old Absent House bar along with his father, my grandfather, and not terribly long, a few years after, a restaurant across the street on Bourbon Street became available, and that's where the first Brennan's was located. And so, at any rate, when we opened Brennan's there, and in a few years began to outgrow that space and needed more space. And so they moved around about 3 blocks to Royal Street, where Brennan's remains today. The funny story about that is the building we're located in Houston in the 1920s was built as the original home of the Junior League by John Staub, man who did Bayou Bend and so many other famous old homes in and around Houston. Long story short, he designed the building, our building that we're in now, the original home of the Junior League, after that building in New Orleans. My family moved in the 20s. My family moves over there in the mid-50s. And in the mid-60s, when they came to Houston looking for a location, here was almost an exact duplicate of the building that they were in New Orleans.
It is so similar because I've been to both locations, and it is you'd think that it was built at the same time or designed that way, but it just was very I guess it's very ironic that it just, serendipitous. I guess I want to say that it looked so much like, what's that?
You don't get to say serendipitous a lot.
No, you don't, but I guess it was kind of that way because you found something that looks so similar to the place in New Orleans, because you can go to the one here in Houston and you really feel like you're transported. I'm from New Orleans, so you feel like you're transported into New Orleans. Tell us a bit about the building, because I know there was a bit of you guys had to rebuild, unfortunately, in the midst of a hurricane when the building caught fire. I worked back in news in those days.
Right. We had during Hurricane Ike, 2008, there was a fire that started in the roof of our building, and sadly, the roof burned off during the hurricane. And if you have a roof fire during hurricane, you're going to get water. Between firemen trying to put it out and God doing his thing, we got a lot of water. So literally, we had to take the old building down to the original brick, and start over. And we reopened in 2010 on Mardi Gras Day, of all things. And that is, people say, "Oh, you engineered that." Valentine's was 3 days earlier. If I could have taken Valentine's money, I would have.
Sure.
But so yeah, that was just one of those things. We had to literally start from scratch.
Alex, one of the things that we always look forward to here in Houston, and of course in NOLA as well, is crawfish season. And crawfish season, I imagine, is a big time for you guys at Brennan's.
It really is. It is, and it's I don't know. It's a time of year that I think sort of reminds Houston a little bit of our ties to Southern Louisiana. And I jokingly say oftentimes that the border between Texas and Louisiana was drawn incorrectly. It should have come down about a little to the west of I-45, because I often think Houston's sort of where Louisiana ends and Texas begins. But if you drive between between Houston and New Orleans, you'll see a bunch of crawfish ponds. Plenty of them right here in Texas. Oh, yeah.
So. Talk about Texas Creole. If people go to the Brennan's in Houston, will they notice some different nuances on the menu than they do in New Orleans?
Certainly, yeah. As we said, we've been here since 1967, so an awful lot of Texas has rubbed off on us, and we're not just a pure Creole restaurant anymore, and it really has rubbed off from our people. I mean, we've got one of the things that I've been blessed with in my career are people that have been with me for decades, like 5, 4. A whole bunch at 3. We've got, folks that have been working with us for a very long time, and many of them are Hispanic. And so their culture has rubbed off on ours a little bit. And I tell a story. One time I was sort of trying to put a crawfish pie on a menu, or needed it for a party. I can't remember. Just wasn't coming out of the kitchen properly. So I went back and said, "Okay, you guys do your version. I'll do my version." And they came up with basically a crawfish enchilada with a roasted tomatillo salsa.
Oh yeah,
I looked at them and said, "Okay, that's better." 35 years later, that dish is on the menu every year during crawfish season. So it's Texas Creole is a blend of that. Really, I think of it more than anything, sort of as Gulf Coast cooking, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where else can you get crawfish enchiladas? That's a staple there as well. And along with the turtle soup, another iconic dish you have, Bananas Foster. I don't think people understand, but you guys created that as well, correct?
Yeah. It was actually created by my mother, and it was one of my uncles married into a family that was in the fruit importing business. They were importing a lot of fruit from Central America. So if you wanted a boatload of oranges, you got a boatload of bananas. If you wanted a boatload of grapefruit, you got a boatload of bananas. There were a lot of bananas, and as you well know, bananas don't stay ripe all that well, and so literally, there were times they were pushing the bananas into the river, and so my uncle's father-in-law said, "Well, these kids have just opened this restaurant 10 blocks from here. Bring the bananas to them. Don't push them in the river." So we had lots and lots and lots of bananas. And we even had a dish that some people still ask for to this day, steak Stanley, which is a steak, but the accompaniment is sautéed bananas.
Oh, yeah.
So lots and lots of bananas. So at any rate, we needed a special dessert, and So they decided we were going to go ahead and the chef had enough of bananas. So, okay, we'll flambe it in the dining room. My grandmother was known for her sauteed bananas growing up for all of her 6 kids and her husband and various folks she fed. And so one mom said, well, we'll just start from there, added a little brown sugar, little cinnamon, flamed it with rum over and above, put it over our vanilla ice cream. And, it's what the one thing that they did not do was call the patent off because I see bananas Foster everywhere.
Yeah. It is everywhere, but I don't think people realize where it came from first and where you can get the original. You're only going to get the original at Brennan's. You've had real quickly before we go, we got to mention this. People in Houston, they know some of your chefs, your former chefs who've gone on to do other things. You've had some talented chefs work with you.
Yeah, we jokingly call them our alumni, and it's just one of the great things about in my business growing up. I remember when Paul Prudhomme started at Commander's Palace. Followed him. A number of people, following them over the years, and we've been very fortunate in Houston. We've been able to attract and work with and hold on to so many fun. Chris Shepard being one, Randy Evans another. Got Sarah Gruenberg, who was just here. She has some great restaurants up in Chicago now. Mark Holly, a lot of people know from Holly's. He's moved his restaurant over to near Herman Park there on Davis Street, and dozens upon dozens, and it's just it really is a blessing, and it really is fun for us. We're not really competitors so much as we're colleagues.
That's got to make you feel good seeing them going out on their own, starting at your place. Alex Brennan-Martin, proprietor of Brennan's of Houston, and our Tasty Tuesday guest. Alex, I'm out there next week. I'm going to come see you guys. Not this Friday, but the next Friday. So I got to get my turtle soup fixed.
Let us know when we're in town. When you're in town.
All right, Alex. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you joining us on the show, and we are going to have all the information on Brennan's of Houston in our social media post after the show. Okay, we're going to turn things over to Benji. Benji, you've got another special guest. Switching gears a bit, talking about food insecurity for our students and much more from the Southeast College. Benji, take it away.
Yeah, we're moving on to Alejandra Campos-Guerrero, Associate Dean of Student Engagement and Success for HCC Southeast. Welcome to the show, Alejandra.
Hi, Benji. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to spotlight HCC Southeast and its efforts to help our students, staff, and faculty with needed resources in the area. So let's get down to it. What is the Eagle Market and who can use it?
Our Eagle Market, it's established currently in our Student Life Center here at HCC Southeast. And it's a mini store, and we have food and we have items from Helping Hands. And who can use it? Our students, faculty, and staff. It's open for all of them.
Okay. So what's the process to gain access to that Eagle Market? Is it something I could just show up and just, get some items, or do I have to sign up beforehand? How does that work?
We do have a flyer that we utilize to market and advertise our Eagle Market, so our students can be familiar and aware that we do have these resources available to them. And on that flyer, it has a QR code and a link for our students to complete an intake form. However, we accept walk-ins. Students can come into the building, let us know that they need items from our Eagle Market, and we'll be more than happy to assist them. They do complete the intake form, and it's just a way of keeping track of our foot traffic in the Eagle Market.
Okay. And so very importantly, who supplies the Eagle Market, and what type of items can we find there?
Yeah, so we're very proud that we have partnership with the Houston Food Bank, and they're the ones that supply our Eagle Market. They supply us with food. We currently have some ground pork in there. We have some chips. We have plenty of rice and pasta, some canned goods as well. And we also have items from Helping Hands, which is more like hygiene products, household items. And yeah, so we're very lucky that we were able to establish that partnership with the Houston Food Bank and be able to supply our Eagle Market with all of those items.
Awesome. Sounds great. So, when you think of some help like this, you always think about like canned food and stuff, but that's great that you all have actual like ground pork and all these other items that, they're perishables, but you still have them there. So what are the business hours for the Eagle Market there?
We try to be open as long as our student life building is open. We're open Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When we are receiving deliveries, we do notify our students that we will be closed due to having to restock our Eagle Market. Other than that, we try to be accessible to our students to come and get items, as we know that there's a need. And this is a resource that can definitely help our students. That will be something less to worry about, and hopefully help them be successful academically, not having to worry about this resource that we do have available for them.
Of course, yeah. And so how are the students hearing about the Eagle Market right now? What are the resources you're sending out to, like, through email?
Yeah, Benji, that's a great question. The platform that I currently use, when students complete an intake form, I receive an alert, right? That there's a new request just submitted. And sometimes I was receiving them Saturday, Sunday at 12 a.m., at 1 a.m. And I got really curious. And I do have an intern that supports me in the Eagle Market. And I was like, we need to add to our intake form on the back end, how are students hearing about our Eagle Market, right? Because they're submitting it on the weekends, really late. And we started asking them, and social media, they're hearing about it and the Instagram page. So it's definitely helping, promoting it there. They're sharing that other students are notifying them about the Eagle Market. Our faculty, our staff are definitely talking to our students about these resources. And that's something that we try to talk to our team here at HCC Southeast. Every moment that you can with our students, share the multiple resources that we have available for our students, because we want them to know, we want them to take advantage, we want them to utilize these resources if they do need them. Also at our event, every event that we have, we try to have our flyers available of all the different resources. And the more that we just advertise, the more that the word will get out. Because again, we're doing this for our students. We know that there's a need and we want them to take advantage of these resources.
Me being a student and still a current student, seeing all the types of like programs and help that HCC gives, it makes me very happy to have something like this. Well, my question is, how did this even start? Did it start with your campus? Did it start from another campus? I just really want to get down to the history of how the Eagle Market started.
So the Houston Food Bank was coming, the mobile was coming the first Thursday of every month. So they were here, it was a mobile truck. And it was district-wide. Several colleges have the mobile. And then we started talking about how can we establish, the Eagle Market and have it stationed here. And our president was a big advocate for that as well. And we were like, hey, let's talk to the Houston Food Bank. Let's see what we have to do to make it happen. Benji, you mentioned you were a student. I was a student here at HCC Southeast. I'm from this barrio. I grew up here in Magnolia. Yeah. So every student that comes in, I picture myself, it reminds me of when I started. And it is great to see, the additional resources that we're bringing into these students. Because like you mentioned, I was a student here. And at one point in middle school, our family went through hardships. So I know how it is, with food insecurity and stuff like that. So being able to provide those resources to our students is very crucial. So again, it was district-wide, started with the mobile, and I'm so glad that we're able to now have our market.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear, because, food insecurity, it shouldn't be something that people should be shy about or embarrassed about. I really don't think so, because we as students, we know how hard we have it. We're working jobs, we're trying to get through it. And maybe just getting some food items here could just help you out to get through the week,
Yes, and Beijing, that reminds me, in all of the events that we have, I try to go talk to the students, our audience. And I tell them, if you know of anyone that is in need of this resource, please encourage them to come and use them. Let's be kind. Let's be kind. Some students might be shy. They might be embarrassed. They might be afraid to come and ask for this assistance and they really need it. And I'm like, hey, you might not need it, but if you know of someone that does, tell them, hey, let's go together to the Eagle Market. Let's see what they have and encourage them, be kind. And let's not, let's break down that stigma of, I'm shy. I don't want to go in there. And you know what, Benji, we've been seeing a lot of traffic. since our
that's
Eagle
great.
Market
Love to hear that.
was established. Just
Yeah.
last week, we had 30 visitors in our Eagle Market. And that's the reason why, again, we have that intake form, because we want to keep track of our foot traffic.
Yeah.
And it's impressive how many students are actually using the resource, and we see the high need for it.
Okay, and lastly, I just want to know how the students have responded to this assistance. I just really want to know what the reaction is to this, going to the Eagle Market and getting some items.
Yes. It is great. We have a lot of students that are excited to hear that we have this resource on campus. At first they're like, what? They get, they're shocked. They're like, they can't believe it. And then when we bring them to the Eagle Market, they walk in and they're like, wow, this is like a mini store, and they get excited to see of all of the items that we have to offer. And I'll tell you, Benji, one time I was guilty. I'll let you know. I was guilty of letting our student know that the items were free. So when I was walking around with them, letting them know what do they want, because I like going in there and helping them out and putting stuff in their basket. At first they were hesitant. They're like, no, let me just take these 2 items. And at the end, she was like, what are the format of payments? And I'm like, I am so sorry. I failed to tell you that it's free. She's like, it is? I'm like, yes, that we have here. It's for our students. It's free. She's like, can I go and get more items? I'm like, yeah, let's go around one more time. And we went and, started grabbing that ground pork, rice. And they were just, you can see it in their face. They're excited. If they live at home, they call their parents and they're like, Mom, we have Clorox in there, which is a big item that our students take.
Perfect.
Mom, do you need Clorox? And just seeing, and I even get the goosebumps, just seeing how our students are really taking advantage of these resources on our campus and, how thankful they are. And when we get our shipment, we have some students in there helping us stock the market, because it's everything that we do is for them.
All right, well, thank you so much for everything that you do over there. This is Alejandra Campos-Guerrero, Associate Dean of Student Engagement and Success for HCC Southeast, and we'll have all of the info on our post after the show. So thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Thank you both. We got some announcements to wrap up our show. Veteran Leadership Program. As part of achieving their personal growth potential, veterans will receive a premium executive package free to our veteran members, complimentary assessment and course materials, and a personal action plan. It's all happening at HCC's Missouri City campus today, 5 to 9 p.m., February 28th. That's today. So check our post after the show. You can register for this free event for our veterans. And hey, we have got a program with a bachelor's degree in nursing.
Yeah, let's make sure it's bachelor's degree, not bachelor's in nursing info as it's written here. Bachelor's in nursing info at Houston Christian University will be at HCC Southwest West Loop campus offering info on its Bachelor of Science in Nursing program from noon to 2 p.m. This will take place Thursday, March 2nd, and we'll have an email in our post after the show for more info.
Okay, HCC is up for League of Innovation of the Year Award, so that HCC can be considered for the prestigious National Innovation of the Year Award. A selection committee will choose one innovation. Please submit innovation nominations by 5 p.m. Thursday, March the 2nd. That's this Thursday. Believe it or not, March starts tomorrow. Get with the program. Crazy. I know. Okay, here's the categories. Previous HCC award recipients include Work Texas at Gallery Furniture, the Weekend College, and UT Tyler HCC Engineering Program. To submit a nomination, complete the form in your email box. Okay, and we've also got a counseling presentation coming up, Benji.
Yeah, it's called Love Shouldn't Hurt. The HCC counseling presentation is offering a virtual presentation by the Houston Area Women's Center called Love Shouldn't Hurt. This will take place Tuesday, March 7th at noon, and just check our post after the show to register.
Okay, material study in her solo exhibition, Professor, okay, Lasizensky, maybe? Okay, please forgive me if I butchered your name. Anyway, Melinda's her first name. She is displaying paper and ceramic works from her recent sabbatical in El Sur, okay? It's now through May the 14th at HCC's Southeast East Side campus at the Wedge Gallery. It's a free exhibition. Just stop on by. Everyone is welcome. And Benji, are you taking classes this semester?
I am. I'm taking one class, actually. So at least I'm getting one done.
You're getting one done. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So second start is already underway, so you can still take more classes, Benji, if you need them. But they're like, they go by like really fast, really fast. They're very shortened, but you can still get some credit hours in. There are 5 ways to learn: online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in-person, hybrid, lab, and all that and more. hccs.edu/apply is the one website to go to for all your registration needs. Okay. So Benji, I want you to, you took note on Brennan's, right?
I did. And I've heard of Banana Foster before, and I just didn't know it was from there.
Yeah, so you got to do this thing. Remember we talked about ordering for her? So you want to go there and the lady will have the turtle soup. I'll have the Caesar salad. I'll have this, that. So that's what you need to do. Okay. They like that.
Yeah. Turtle soup. I'll try it. I'm a little scared.
Trust me on that. It's the way to go. You will be pleasantly surprised. All right, tomorrow, Gaming Wednesday. We're going to go old school by focusing on the game of basketball because March Madness begins. And guess what, baby? The Cougs, yeah, number 1 in the country.
Whose house?
Market, yeah. All right. So we'll also visit with Central College's wellness program. And Roman Alvarez from the counseling department will be here to talk about its workshops this week to help with a variety of mental health issues. Okay. Keep that in mind. All that's happening tomorrow. I know you'll be watching, Benji.
Yep, I will.
Okay. And we hope all of you will be joining us. We'll be back tomorrow morning live, 10 a.m. for Up to the Minute.